I did a cameo in Spider-Man 2 at the time,
that
which, like,
is
ever
so-
talk about headlines and press. If you watch Spider-Man 2, you won't see me.
Everyone's-
It's like a
No?
half a second.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, the publicist is like, you're like,
You're
Peter
in
is in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, yeah. For Audio Technica and AT1 Radio, this is At Sometime Somewhere. I'm Jacob Derwin. Today I'm joined by Peter Cincotti. He's a singer-songwriter and pianist who Town and Country magazine calls a New York institution. His upcoming album, In Color, will be released in early 2026. Peter, welcome to AT1 Studio.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm good, man. What does that mean to you, a New York institution? That's kind
I
of...
don't know. I made a face when you said it. I've heard the quote before, but I was like, people just listening. I was like, wow, that's a hell of a quote.
It's a real sentiment.
Jesus Christ.
Do you, maybe a little much, just laying it out.
No,
a
it's a
little
very huge compliment. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they came up with that after one of my recent shows at the Carlyle when Town and Country came, and the Carlyle is really the New York institution.
It's the Carlyle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, for those who don't know Café Carlyle, tell me what the vibe is there. If you know, like, the history at all. Tell me
Of
about
course,
it.
I mean, there's so much history. The room itself is so unique. As far as a music venue, it's probably one of the most unique places to play in the world. It's just tiny little room, and you do feel the history when you play there. It's really intimate, and it is a New York sort of experience for anybody who hasn't done that. It's also, you feel like you're part of a time gone by, and it keeps that whole world alive, So it's an experience, and I love playing there. It's like a tiny little stage, and it's super intimate, and that affects the way you play and the music that comes out. It's awesome. I love playing there.
Well, like you're saying, I mean, it's a New York institution. It's this very unique space. The people who come through there, I mean, we're not talking about like any old jazz pianist. We're talking. I mean,
Right.
I checked the upcoming roster this morning, and you got everyone from Judy Collins to Sutton Foster.
It's true. There is a huge variety. I'm sometimes surprised at some of the people that they book there because it's people from all over the map. But I think the audience who attend those shows just want to kind of get to know the person, and that venue allows you to do that, especially after a martini, which are very strong. Yeah.
I've seen you quote about the martini.
Yeah, those martinis are so dangerous. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I try to watch them pour it, like it's just that, right? But
It's a glass of vermouth.
but
They're going to do a glass of vermouth. There's an olive
I
in
don't
it,
know
but it's a
what
glass
they're
of
doing,
vermouth.
but you walk out stumbling.
I think a lot of people, when they think of a New York music venue, they maybe think of something like Café Carlyle.
Totally,
But
and
there's only really it.
They're the last man, and as far as I know, they're the last man standing. There's a
Yeah.
lot of newer and really cool places, and
Yeah.
even piano bars, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
super trendy, almost speakeasies, or
Sure.
that kind of stuff. But nothing like the Carlyle as far as the old world and the history of it, and they've been doing it for so long. And that in that format where you go, you get there early, you have a cocktail, you have dinner.
Yeah.
You have to kind of have dinner there.
Yeah.
And then the show happens, and by the time you hit the stage, a lot of people have been there for 2-3 hours already.
Yeah.
So they're feeling pretty warmed up and ready for the music. But it's a night; it's a whole night,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Yeah.
just catching a set somewhere and then going to dinner. So it's an experience.
Yeah. It makes me think of like a 54 Below, or like these kind of venues that are
Right.
meant to be somewhere you sit and watch and dine.
Yeah,
and drink,
exactly.
And it's like a full night out.
I know. I wish there were more like the old days, like the Copacabana. You hear stories
Yeah.
about the old Copa. When I first got started,
Yeah.
because
Because you're an Upper East Sider.
I'm born and raised in Manhattan my whole life, and I knew about obviously the Carlyle and other places like it. I got my start at their competitor at the time, which was the Oak Room at the Algonquin Hotel, which was another legendary place where performers would come through and really launch their careers in, again, another tiny, unique room. It was like a totally different shape, but sort of a rectangle. Again, not like the ideal venue.
Sure.
Even the Carlyle, it's not the ideal, it's like this.
It's not like the acoustics.
No,
are like,
exactly,
no, it's
but
not
it
about that.
has, but yet
Yeah.
somehow the carpeting and the walls just has this unique feel that the sound is actually great at the Carlyle, but the Algonquin had something similar in a very sort of quirky way.
Yeah.
You'd have to turn around in a weird way to see the bass player or whatever, but again, that's how I got started, so I knew that world a bit, and then they closed, and now I think Carlisle's last last one like that.
Have you found other spaces around the world at this point that are particularly meaningful to you?
I love going to France and Italy, like the crowds there. But when I'm in Europe, I end up doing a lot more original material, which in so many ways feels like, the real me as a songwriter. And to see people who don't even speak the language that well know the English lyrics of my own songs is incredible. So that ends up being meaningful in a whole other way.
Yeah. How, because you've been performing since you were a kid, man. So how have audiences changed in the last 20 years that you've noticed?
I'm not sure the audience has changed all that much. The business changed a lot, and the way to consume music has changed, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about that, it's just, and it's changing so fast that just when you think you got the grasp of it, it's, there's a new algorithm or there's a new thing you got to do.
Sure.
So when I first started, I got the tail end of the, I guess, quote unquote, traditional music business where you get signed and you're
kind of early
like
2000s.
The early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then I had a few years of that old system, those old structured deals, and it was pre-social media. So that all changed. I think at the end of the day, when somebody's on stage playing music and the audience is there to see it, that's kind of timeless. I don't know that changed all that much.
It's not about what happens in the room, it's the getting people to the room.
There's that. There's all, like, how are you going to promote this? That's changed a lot, but that's all business stuff. Like the venues now are like, it's on the old-fashioned promoters who would really take it upon themselves to promote a show is less and less and less and less.
It's more on the artist.
Right? It's all just the promoters asking you,
hey,
can you post? We'll book you at the thing, but we need 5 stories, that's right. 7 reels, and then that's the way it is now. So it's totally
I am
different.
hoping you'll post a reel about the podcast.
I will.
No, but I'm 30. I was raised on the internet. I'm a digital native.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? I was a better typer than I was a text writer with my handwriting.
Right.
And even I'm out of the loop half the time.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you are constantly in it and like chasing it.
Yeah,
it can be
exactly.
A real challenge. What makes a good cover? I mean, you've done Billy Joel, you've done Carole King, you've done a lot of big artists. So how do you make it yours?
Well, I think in the end, it's all just trying to find yourself. Like you're just expressing yourself. Like those old standards are vehicles for expression. Those great jazz piano players would use those songs, many of which came from the theater at the time, the Broadway actually.
Yeah. And
you'd have the great writers, and they just wrote these songs that the structure was such that somebody like Bill Evans could find himself within the template they provided of a song. And maybe the changes and the best instrumentalists would, in my view, would listen to the words of a song and let the actual lyrics, which were just the best of that era.
Yeah.
Those
the
guys.
Brill building stuff.
And the songwriter teams of the theater at the time.
Yes.
Lerner and Lowe, and Rodgers and Hart, and Cole Porter on his own, and Frank Lesser, and like all these jazz guys would just take those songs because they were just so good, and they would. They would make it their own, but they were just trying to express themselves. So the Great American Songbook is special in that there's so much to choose from that you could find yourself in.
Yeah.
And picking material as an art form, and then expressing yourself in a unique way as an arts form. But it's been always a careful dance for me, even when I first started, because I didn't want to pick, when I was just doing that, I didn't want to pick songs that were just so associated with a certain artist. And if you are going to pick something that's so associated with a certain artist, you better find a way to do it that is uniquely yours. And my first producer, Phil Ramone, who's a legend in his own way, he was always like encouraging that, to take songs. And on that first album, we combined the Beatles and Nat King Cole. I did a song from the Muppets, The Rainbow Connection.
Right.
I did Paul Williams, one of the best. And that melody, Kenny Asher, just incredible melody there. So we weren't taking like, the most traditional, we weren't doing Fly Me to the Moon, or, we weren't doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
So, I was still thrown on a marketing level. I was still thrown into the, hey, get, the martini and call him a crooner and he's a Sinatra this. And but we weren't really doing that. And then I just got to a point where it was like, I got to write my own stuff. To me, it was just such a linear obvious decision to make my third album and have that be all original songs. It was a left turn, I think, on a marketing level. I switched labels, and everybody was like, "Wait, what are you doing? You're in this zone." And I go, I get that, but to me, this is like this is the obvious next step. I just kept pushing. Yeah. So that was when I met David Foster. And long story short, we made that third record, but that was the beginning of my, I guess like a debut as a songwriter or debut as an artist. So it's always been a dance between the two worlds for me.
Yeah, even on that first album, I was looking through your track listings and like songwriter credits, and I noticed that your mom was credited on a bunch of songs.
Yeah, she was.
So I imagine you wrote those together.
So those two or three on that first record were actually written probably when I was like those melodies I probably had when I was like 13, 14. Yeah. And I wasn't really writing my own lyrics then, and I think for fun, she just took a couple melodies and wrote her own words to it.
Love that.
And it ended up sticking. And when we made my first record, they kind of fit right into that aesthetic that we were going for with the other songs.
Do you still play any of those songs live?
Nah, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
Since I started writing my own stuff, is like, I don't know how much, but it really depends on the song.
Yeah.
We wrote I think a really great Christmas song together that will come out. I think I'm going to re-release it because my label at the time never released it, but it gets played on radio, so we may re-release it.
It was never released, but it's on radio?
Yeah, it was some limited edition EP thing I tried to like buy back for a while, and then I'm like, well, either release it, just keep it, but release it, because fans are like,
dude,
where can I hear it on Sirius or I hear it on Pandora, but like, can I go on Spotify? I'm like, no, you can't. The label, and I try to get it, the label involved. No. So then I ended up doing like the Taylor Swift thing, where I'm just going to re-record it with the same musicians, or most of them, same arrangements, and I think the end of this year I'll release it.
Sounds like a good move.
Couple more.
Peter's version.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
No, that's so sweet. I mean,
crazy.
I would think of. It makes me think, like, if you do get to play these songs live, I mean, they get to. It's a way to connect with your family in a very sweet way, which I find charming.
Yeah.
If you look up interviews with you, the headline is like, he's been playing piano since he was 3 years old, and at 18 years old, he topped the Billboard Jazz charts. But that just means to me is that you've been doing this a really long time, and you must have built in some sort of rituals, some sort of habits that make it sustainable. My wife's a musical theater person. She's wrapping up a show right now down in Alabama. She did an amazing job, and she is spent. You know what I mean? Girl needs a steam room stat. So, like, tell me what the rituals are, the habits are that have helped you sustain this for so long. Are you downing actor secret spray? Are you on the Nimjong Pepakoa cult? Like, what's the stuff?
It's the music, I would say, because I'm like, I'm constantly, as soon as I'm done with the record, I have a little period where I need what your wife needs, which is just like total disconnect. But then pretty soon, the ideas and I wake up in the middle of the night. It's like I write this down, and the tank starts refilling pretty soon. I remember just feeling so depleted. It might have been after my first record, because that was my first experience with, that's it. I guess I can't, never going to make another record.
Yeah, right.
It's impossible.
It's over.
Those are all my ideas forever.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, it starts up again. It's like a separate entity that just, then it's like it's a blessing. I don't want to say it's a curse, but it is a constant thing, and if you don't get it out, you're gonna, other things happen. You're just keeping it in, and it's just like, and then so I and more than ever now, I have so many irons in the fire and different projects and different collaborations, more than ever before. This next record will feature artists from around the world on my own songs. So we have a French artist, we have a Turkish artist, we have one of the great U.S. bass players, we have a world artist, I'm recording somebody in the hip hop world after this interview today.
Okay.
And then I just recorded Chris Bodie, who sounds so good, the trumpet player.
Fabulous.
So it's like a really wide array of musicians and singers and artists in their own right. My point is that there's so many things in the fire. Like, I'm excited about the music, but you need to somehow take a break. I often have a gin martini sooner than I do that oral spray that I should probably do whatever your wife does.
Might be drying you out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you're done singing.
You gotta somehow carve out time for yourself.
Tell me about like an experience maybe you've had where you're like in the studio and you get to feed off each other. Lex Sadler, who I've spoken,
I love Lex.
I've spoken to in here actually. He was on season 1.
Oh,
like,
awesome.
Yeah, like these are people
I'm
who
about
are,
to see him. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, these are artists who are constantly not just making their own work, but they're in collaboration. They are playing live on stage and making it up as they go. Like, does that help get the creative juices?
Oh yeah,
flowing?
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one, I've never, haven't been. Well, there's different kinds of collaborations. There's songwriting collaborations, which I haven't done a lot of. It's been except for my main collaborator, this guy John Bettis, who's a legendary lyricist and been around and wrote classics that from Michael Jackson's Human Nature to One Moment in Time, Whitney Houston. We wrote a song together, Goodbye Philadelphia, which was a success on my 3rd album, and that was like the debut of me as like a writer. And then I'm recently writing with a woman named Victoria Shaw, who's another really great writer who's had a lot of hits all over the map. But but generally, besides those two, the writing has been like a really like private, intimate sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But on a production level and on a musician level, and guys like Lex or David Ryan Harris or working with David Foster as a producer, or even Phil, when I learned with Phil, like all that stuff in the room. I mean, that isn't that's an alive thing in the studio, and of course it affects the outcome. And maybe the drummer will have an idea or is going to play something, and you're going to play differently. Cool. So all that's really conversational. But you got to have in my view, you got to have the song. Like I don't know how I'm always fascinated with people just go like, we're going into the studio next week.
Out.
Yeah, like oh really? It's like okay. You don't have the songs yet? And they're like, no, we're going in the studio.
That's what we're doing.
And some people do that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh wow. So when I go in the studio, it's all ultra mapped out. To maybe 75%. So I have it all pretty much mapped out, and then I leave like 25% room for the unknown, and then that's usually the best part anyway.
Well, that's just it, right? Like that's the part that you let things get a little wild and see where they fall.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But I don't know how those other guys do it. I wish I were more like that.
Tell me about the new album. You've released 2 singles from it at time of recording.
2 singles so far. Yeah. We got the 3rd one coming out on September 12th, which is a French version of my song.
Right. So tell me how that came about. You were telling me before the recording. How did you end up with a French singer?
Well, it's actually a song that I released called Ghost of My Father. It was on my last album. And that's about my dad. It's probably the most personal song I've ever written. And this woman named Anne Sela, who's really talented, and I believe she was on The French Voice or won The French Voice, but she's so versatile. She heard the song through a mutual radio promotion guy that we know there who put us together and thought that this would be a really nice match. And it was so cool, I was telling you before the podcast, just to hear her brilliant French adaptation of the lyric. To hear your own melody in a different language like that is really cool. It's like you know what that is, but you don't know what that is. You wrote the melody, but having that attached to these French words, it almost made the melody look different. It was like putting on new clothes, and it was like the same notes, and then she did the translation. She explained what she did poetically to the lyric, and I'm excited for people to hear it, especially the French audience. So that's coming out, and a number of other collaborations.
Yeah, those kinds of things are always translations are always so fascinating to me, because often there is no one-to-one. You know what I mean? There you have to. It's like seeing a film with a dub or a subtitle. Like they have to make certain creative choices to emulate the feeling.
Yeah, totally. And then they end up bringing something new in addition to the emulation.
Yeah.
But it's cool, and there's something particular about the French, melodies and the way they love melody.
Yeah.
And the way the songs go up and down, and even the history of translations, like Beyond the Sea, the Bobby Darin song, or there's a lot of great songs that we know in one language, and you don't realize that they're connected to another language because they feel so different.
Yeah.
When you hear it.
Do you have a connection to Bobby Darin?
I did a cameo in the film about Bobby Darin. Funny enough that you mentioned that I played his musical director in the film Beyond the Sea.
That's fabulous.
Yes.
Have you seen the Jonathan Groff show just yet?
No, but I've heard a lot of good things.
I've heard
about
good things
it.
too. So you were, God, I mean, that must have been years ago now.
That came out. in 2006 or something.
Oh,
2005.
So you're what, like 20 something?
20 maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Have you done any films since then?
A couple of things. I did a cameo in Spider-Man 2 at the time, which talk about headlines and press. If you watch Spider-Man 2, you won't see me. It's like half a second.
Oh god.
But yeah, the publicist is like, you're Peter's
in
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. He looks at you.
Exactly.
He looks Spider-Man looked at you.
It's like the quickest little. It's the planetarium scene, and
Sure.
and I'm there. But it's like a second and a half. So
Are you
when
behind a
people
piano?
ask me, they talk about it, like especially in the in interviews. It's like I'm like
you're not
I'm just
inspired.
playing the piano. I'm not inspired. I'm just playing the piano in the background.
You're playing piano in the background.
Take it
Spider-Man.
easy. Yeah, exactly.
Peter Cincotti is in the background of
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2.
But it's very cool. It was cool,
so
but
funny.
it was a little blown out of proportion.
Hey man, take your credits where you can.
Exactly.
Right?
I did do the House of Cards cameo. Now that was a real cameo.
Okay.
Because that was like I played myself. We had a full song with the president. And
Cool.
Kevin Spacey was singing a duet. And
Wow.
it was awesome. That was I think it was season 3.
Sure. I feel like we don't get as much of that. I'm a huge fan of The West Wing.
Oh,
which
okay.
I
Yeah,
know.
I used to
Wow,
be right.
wow, really cool liberal left wing guy. Love The West Wing. Shocking. But it's true, and part of the thing I love about it is it's got some cultural touchstones where you'll watch it and bare naked ladies will sing a song because it's 1999.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Amy Mann makes an appearance.
That's
that kind
true.
of
That
thing.
happened a lot.
Yeah.
Or like with Ally
Yeah.
McBeal. I remember that with Josh Groban, like single-handedly made his career.
100%.
It's just like, or there was a few songs in was it Grey's Anatomy? The Anna Nalick song, I think, "Breathe." Too.
Yeah.
I think it was in Grey's Anatomy.
Yes, I think you're right.
And like so many
Better
songs,
House.
and when they were
that was Grey's Anatomy.
all right,
Yeah, just go
and
with
then
it.
there was a few like great placements that are like wow, and the show's good enough where they put the songs. But you're right, I feel like it happens a little less now.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I've met a lot of amazing artists who like those kind of sync placements are their whole career.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a very wonderful thing to get. But like, I don't think we're ever gonna get a Scrubs again.
Right.
Or like now the Fray is a huge band. You know what I mean?
That's
or
right.
Colin Hay doing Overkill acoustically.
That's
like
right.
just the greatest.
The Fray, right?
Yeah.
I remember. Right, I remember.
I
that.
remember the Fray.
I didn't mean it sound like that, but I think I know the placement you're talking about.
Oh yeah, there were a couple. All right, I have a little lightning round for you. So we mentioned it earlier, but 18 years old, youngest person ever to top the Billboard Jazz charts, but you have an affinity for all types of music. So today's lightning round, we're going to go through some pop chart history. I'm going to name a year, and I'm going to tell you the 3 biggest songs on the Billboard Hot 100 of the year. I want you to tell me your favorite of the 3.
Okay.
And why. And
right.
if
we know.
I think you'll know most of these. I'd be a little surprised if you didn't know most of these. All right, so let's start with your birth year. I believe 1983.
Okay.
1983. Top 3 songs of that year are "Every Breath You Take" by The Police, "Billie Jean," Michael Jackson, "Flashdance," "What a Feeling," Irene Cara.
Jesus.
Those are that's a. By the way, for 1 year,
That's
unbelievable
a great
top
year.
3.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
top
I gotta
3.
go with Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you like a little kid who was like really into like?
Not
that?
really.
No.
No, but I mean, you're asking me I mean, I like the "Every Breath You Take" too. Don't get me wrong.
But
Don't
Billie
get
Jean
me wrong.
is.
I guess
yeah.
that's so. I mean, it's so iconic, and that
Yeah.
production is just so good.
All right, I have one more
That's
for
true.
you. This is 2003. This was a big year for you. So while you're topping the jazz charts, these are the 3 top songs on the pop charts. "Into Club," 50 Cent, "Ignition," R. Kelly, and "Get Busy," Sean Paul.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't sound crazy, but I didn't mind "In the Club."
It's a great
I
song.
didn't mind that one.
It's a great song.
All right, let's give it to him.
It's got a great groove.
It's already number 1 anyway that year, right?
What was
was
that?
the number 1, right?
That was number 1 was
yeah.
"In the Club." All right, let's do one more. I'm going to pull up the Billboard Top 100 Hot charts. I want you to tell me what year you want to do. You can name any year you want as long as it was there was a Billboard chart at the time.
Well, let's go back then. Let's just see if we know some. Let's go back to like, I don't know, maybe the 60s.
Sure.
Somewhere in the 60s.
What do you maybe 69?
Sure.
Let's do 1969. So I'm going to pull up top 3 songs. Okay, I'm going to pull up the top 3 songs of 1969. This is great. Number 1 is "Sugar Sugar" by the Archies, a fake band, in case you didn't know. Number 2 is "Aquarius," "Let the Sun Shine In," the Fifth Dimension version. And number 3 is I Can't Get Next to You" by the Temptations.
Wow.
Great list. And,
Wow.
and like everything under there is amazing too. You got
I
Honky Tonk Women, you got Everyday People.
That's nice too. I guess I got to go with the Temptations.
Ooh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going with?
I think I go with the Fifth Dimension there.
What's like a 19? Go to the 50s for a sec. Let's see what we got
Well,
there.
so the Billboard Hot 100 starts in 59.
All right, let's go to
So
59.
okay, you think you'll know a couple of these? Yeah?
I don't know.
So these are the first ever #1 songs, basically. Oh, you know what? There's a Bobby Darin on here. Okay.
No kidding.
We got The Battle of New Orleans by Johnny Horton.
Okay.
You got Mac the Knife, Bobby Darin.
Wow.
And you got Personality by Lloyd Price.
Interesting, and that was the first year.
This is the first year of the year-end Hot 100 Billboard charts.
I mean, you got to go with Mac the Knife. There.
Absolutely.
I mean, that recording of his is the best of the best.
It's unbelievable.
Mac the Knife. Yeah, and nobody, even people I truly love, who have sung it, that recording is the best.
Yeah. Oh, this is a great list. I mean, yeah, but number 12 is Put Your Head on My Shoulder. It's Paul Anka.
Oh, wow.
This is, I mean, they got the Fleetwoods. They got a bunch of those on here. Donna by Richie Valens. Charlie Brown by the Coasters is top 20.
Those days are over. Those days are all over.
They get referenced.
That's so great.
There's references in modern pop. There's certain production efforts. I met a woman actually not too long ago who's like the granddaughter of one of the singers in the Coasters.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, your grandpa did yakety
cool.
yak? Like, what are you talking about?
I love all that 50s stuff.
Yeah.
Like 50s rock and roll, yakety yak, all that whole like. I guess I used to get the CDs. I thought they were Billboard CDs. 1950 something. Are you sure it started in 59?
Well, the year-end charts and the Billboard chart, there may have been aggregates of what the best songs were.
Yeah,
but
maybe
the Billboard charts as we know them.
Because I remember getting cassettes and CDs that were like Billboard 1956 or Billboard 19, whatever it was.
Interesting.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering. But that 50s era of rock and roll was my first love as a musician ever. Like when I was 4 or 5, I would listen to Jerry Lee Lewis. I would listen to Chubby Checker, Fats Domino, the 50s doo-wop stuff. I mean, loved for so many years. That was what I wanted to play. I wanted to play like those guys.
Do you have any doo-wop in your back pocket?
No, but my last no doo-wop, but my last record was, I guess, my nod to that with it's called Killer on the Keys, and it was a tribute to Jerry Lee Lewis, who was known as the Killer.
That's right.
And I love Boogie Woogie, so I kind of wrote a Boogie Woogie style song, but in a sort of a pop, I guess, production. But it's my reference to him and like growing up and listening to that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's interesting to see where things sit. I mean, I know for me, like going to summer camp as a kid, like I remember learning like Rock Around the Clock and stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Bill Haley.
Exactly. Like there's certain
used to love that.
I mean, as a kid, I adored it, and then it just kind of goes away as you get older. It's so
that
fascinating.
is interesting.
Yeah, maybe that's just my generation. I don't know.
That is interesting. No, it went away from me too. Although now I hear it and I like it, but it doesn't do the same thing. It was like my mind was blown.
Yeah.
But then every era, every genre, everything that I got into in a heavy way, and then that ended up, and then I just would like soak up as much as possible, and then I'd want something else, and that would inevitably lead to something else. Like that rock and roll phase lasted many years, and then I needed something more, and I went into like kind of different blues, and then from blues similar went into jazz. I remember listening to people too soon, and I just didn't get it at all, whether it's Miles Davis or even people that I came to love, and then you hear them too soon, but you're not old enough yet, or you don't get it's almost like rereading Hemingway in your 40s. It's better just wait. You read it in high school, but read it later. You're gonna get more out of it. It's the same sort of thing.
I think things affect you as you age. You understand them better. I mean, it's a weird. I don't know why this is what came to my mind, but like the Disney movie Lilo and Stitch.
I don't know.
It's a Disney movie. It's about a little Hawaiian girl who adopts an alien. It's a long story, but when you watch it as a kid, there's this older sister character who, when you're a kid, she seems so like irritating and overbearing. Okay. And then you get older and you watch it again and you go, why is that little girl driving her older sister crazy?
Yeah,
she's just trying to take care of her.
Right.
You really like you're the way you perceive these characters shifts,
and that's with I think all great art.
Yeah,
whether it's
it grows with you.
And the best films. Some of the best films I've watched. Yeah, just my favorites. I've just watched over and over and over again, and then you get something different out of it
every time.
It's like any piece of good music or art in any way, I think.
Yeah. Are there certain musicians who you find yourself? I don't want to sound like copying, because it's not copying, but all performers, there's certain shapes thrown, there's moves made, there's quotes quoted that are from things you've absorbed over
Of
over
course.
time.
The thing is, it's hard to know. It's hard to pinpoint.
Sure. Yeah.
Really where.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's super obvious, then yeah, you could say, oh, that's a derivative.
That's a clear derivative. Yeah.
But no, I think the beauty of it all is that it gets into this mishmash of like you become yourself, and that again comes with age. There are things. It's crazy. There are things I'm doing on this hip hop track. We'll see how it comes after this session today. And there's like it's so interesting to me because there's elements of certain piano players, and there's elements of just jazz influences in there that you just would never expect. And then that's what's exciting about my next record, because it's bringing out things that I know I got from my past, but by the nature of the collaboration, it's now become a totally different animal.
Yeah.
Because
it's combining with everything else that everyone else is bringing to the table.
And it's very interesting. So that keeps me creatively inspired.
Yeah, it's that idea of your personality, your perspective is the amalgamation of everything you absorb.
Yeah. Every record, I feel like I'm just trying to peel back the onion to get somewhere, and every time I think I get closer and closer, I don't know where the ultimate, if I'll ever
who knows
feel like, oh, those are all the layers.
I did it.
Yeah, I did it. Like those
I
got to the core. Yeah, I won. But like it's just a constant. I'm like, oh no, that's it. That's it. And then you go and you pull back the layer, and then you do that, and then there's another door. It's like a door into a door into a door into a door. And I've just been on this quest, and through my original material has really been the biggest vessel to freely find that core. Whether I find it or not, I don't know, but it's been really inspiring because I keep bringing in elements of all these other things and just trying to get to it and see what it is. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, but it's I guess it never ends,
Amen.
Yeah.
Tell people where they can find you if you want to be found. The social media, the website, all that
everywhere. My website's petercincotti.com, and my handle is Peter Cincotti. Pretty much everywhere,
Good branding.
Instagram, Facebook, wherever
we love consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
And as for us, you can find us on Instagram at AT1Radio, AT_ONE_radio, and you can learn more about Audio-Technica and its many wonderful products at audio-technica.com. Peter, thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank you, Jacob.
I
Great to
appreciate
see you
it, man.
again. Yeah.
Absolutely.
One.